Okay, I'd like to call the committee of the whole meeting for Monday, March 23rd to order. Before we start, I respectfully acknowledge that we are gathered on the traditional territory of the Lekwungen-speaking peoples, represented by the Tsetson and Songhees nations, whose stewardship of these lands continues to this date. We have a mover and seconder to adopt today's agenda, please. Thank you very much. Councillor Jordison and Councillor Grove. Discussion? Seeing none. Any opposed? Seeing none, thank you. If you could watch Councillor Olson from her hand for me, thanks. And I just want to welcome Councillor Olson, and you do look ill still, Councillor Olson. Thank you for staying away. And she's joining the committee electronically this evening. May I have a mover to adopt the minutes from March 9th, committee of the whole meeting, please. Thank you. Same two, please. Thank you. Any discussion, errors or omissions? Seeing none, motion carries. Thank you. Public participation. There's no one here, so I don't have to ask the question. And no one has filed to do it electronically, so I'll move on. We'll get right into new business, which is the Cairndale VMP intersection design options. And CEO Johnson, if you could introduce the presenters, please.
Thank you, Mayor Kobayashi and members of council. This is the Cairndale Road Veterans Memorial Parkway intersection design options. Joshua Bayless will start off with the presentation and provide information. The presentation is loaded for council to receive.
So I don't know if I should jump in at this point in time, Mr. Johnson, but I just watched the film from the Infrastructure and Transportation Committee, and I noticed that the options were never presented to them. Is that correct? Like, I saw you guys talked about the multi-use pathway, and you sort of talked to this in passing, but you never discussed the options. So is that a true statement, or did I miss it?
Yeah, through the chair. Thank you. No, we wouldn't have had those options at the time of that meeting. So this is new information coming directly to council.
So I don't want to have a meeting and adjourn it, but I'll just give you my feelings on this at this point in time. I came prepared. I got lots of questions to ask you. But I guess the point is that we've been inundated with a bunch of emails from committee members, actually. And I was surprised. That's what triggered me. I'm like, oh shoot, you guys did talk about this. I thought, and because of some of the questions that were raised, and I think you guys should get your hands on these things right now as soon as possible. But I felt that I don't want to break the system here, and obviously, if we come to council, we'd have to refer to them for discussion. But I feel more comfortable because of some of the people that are on there to actually send it to them I would refer it to council and direct them to have a first go at this. This is what I'm going to suggest. I don't want, and not only that, I don't have the full council here either, which is even making it worse, aggravating. It's such an important issue. I really want to see everyone around the table. So this is my suggestion at this point in time. Well, go ahead, John.
Thank you, Your Worship. We can certainly make that happen, but one of our concerns is our construction timeline.
Right.
We do have a fairly aggressive timeline with regard to construction.
Absolutely.
We're currently going to be July.
Yeah.
If we go to committee, we're probably looking at least a month, which staff is completely fine with, but I just want to council understand we probably won't start construction to this fall then if we did that. I don't think that's problematic from a cost point of view. I just think from a timing point of view, if you want to actually see construction start out there, this might throw a bit of a wrench into that timing of the schedule.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I did notice that, and I knew that, and that also, and also one of the other things I noticed, there was an alignment with the approval of the grant, right? So I saw that too, and I went, shoot, nothing aligns here. And maybe it is a good thing to delay.
It does help us with regards to grant notification. So that is a plus in that side.
So it's just so that you don't have to keep doing this over and over and over. So I just want to be really, really efficient. And it's just my suggestion because the biggest thing, you know, for the way that I want to refer this to them is also ask another question. And that is, bike paths. It's a great thing that you guys put it in there, right? And I looked at that and I'm going, okay, so what is the plan there? And I went to the draft TNP, try to figure that out. Are we running a bike path from, you know, from basically VMP down to Wisher? Because it doesn't kind of make sense to me unless we are doing that. And then we don't even have that prior to this either, right? You know, we don't have an approved TMP, like what's important to us, what should we be doing? And that was the one thing that I was looking for the TMP to help us with, like, where, you know, what is philosophically should we be doing? Like, should we be trying to get everything down onto the galloping goose? Is that philosophically what we want to do? Therefore, it helps us prioritize which the routes. Because the reality, I think, realistically, we can't put bike paths on every freaking road here in Colwood. That is, we're not Victoria. We could never afford that. But just to have that guidance help me, like, I don't know, like, I don't know what the smartest way and what the best routes are. But philosophically, I thought to myself, well, I wonder if that's what we're trying to do. I don't know. Or are we just putting them randomly all over the place? Now, that was the same question I had with sidewalks. Like, what's priority? Like, it was smart what the previous council did. We said schools and parks. Made sense, right? So we did them. And it made sense to me. But now what is it? I don't know. And without that TMP, some guidance. So that's the kind of guidance I think we're looking for as a council right now. If we have time to look at that, that sure helps us because it would actually help me in my selection of the options right now too. Mind you, all three options had bike paths on them, right? But do we actually need to put them there? That's what I don't know. And I would be, it would just be my own gut feel about it, but I don't know. And because we don't have a lot, we have data, car data. I don't think we have as much bike data right now. How many people are on bikes? I know aspirationally, we're at, I forget, 3%, or I forget what the number is, but we want to be 17% by in 20 years or whatever it is. That's aspirational, but is it a reality? We're not downtown. So there's so many questions I have. And it's just to get, that's the kind of guidance and expertise I was hoping to get, because that would help us make sure our TMP is right. And then because my very first question is, how do these options align with our OCP and TMP? Well, we only have a draft TMP. We don't have we have an OCP. I can answer that question, but I couldn't answer it well. So anyways, I'm just suggesting this right now. I'll go around the table here and then I'll put a motion on the floor. Councillor Jensen.
Thank you, Worship. I mean, maybe the chief administrator or the corporate officer can weigh in on this, but I don't think process-wise. I mean, I came prepared to have this discussion this evening. It does have to make its way to council at some point in the near future, and I don't see why we couldn't begin this discussion today. Have it referred to committee, which I would agree with, and then have it then come out the other end to council. And I would hate to think we missed an opportunity for a grant or a window for construction. This is an asset to the community or for the community that has been long spoken about and sought after. And I prefer that we got on with business. Thank you.
Good, thank you. By the way, the grant has already been applied for. So we're just waiting approval. So I don't think this isn't our decisions here are related. Okay, thank you. Councillor Jordison, please.
Thank you. I just have a couple questions. Has this work been tendered yet or like lined up with somebody?
Thank you, through the chair. Do you mean the construction work?
Yeah,
Not tendered yet, no.
it's not been tendered.
Not been tendered, no.
Okay.
We need to pick an option so it can be designed.
So, but no work has commenced on it at all. Yeah. Okay. I see it as like ineligible for the grant. So I was just really worried about that.
Sorry, through the chair. all we've had done so far is preliminary designs. We've hired McElhaney Consulting, and they're working on conceptual design, which will be all the design packages in front of you for the options and the high level costing we've had done. So in terms of work, we've had consulting work done on this, but no construction work. We're looking for direction to get further along in design.
Okay. And I guess I just had a further question. It was just, this project is already funded and prioritized like with the DCC program. And it's already like, it's already in the coffers to be paid for out of the budget and everything. So like, I don't know, I guess I don't under, I'm struggling to understand the rationale for like, putting it forward as the grant fund, like for the grant opportunity to begin with, instead of like an unfunded priority. Like typically grants are used for nice projects that we can't afford or that, outside of our budget. So can you explain that?
You bet. You're through the chair. You're touching on a few points I was going to talk about in my preamble, but I'll just answer here, and then if you guys decide to hear me out, I'll keep going. But relative to the grant opportunities, I think we explored that when we came to council asking if we had permission and sort of endorsement to go forward with the grant. In order to get the grant, you have to have a certain level of design done, a certain level of commitment for the project. So they actually needed it to be supported through council with funding. So that's why it made it eligible and a possibility. As we work further along with the Machosen Corridor study and projects come forward there, we certainly will be applying for grants with those as well. But we didn't have any projects we could bring forward other than this one. And all that it would mean for the funding that comes through the DCC and other funding sources, if we're successful in this grant, it would just alleviate those funds needing to be used and we could use them elsewhere inside of Colwood. So it'd be a net benefit to Colwood and taxpayers of where our funding could go elsewhere. So that was the rationale.
So we could, I guess, so we could potentially proceed knowing that it's already in the spend, and then, but we just don't know which way to proceed and how big of, okay, I get it.
Yeah, through the chair, that's staff's intent. If we go through with tonight and continue this conversation, it would be wherever we land. Should we be successful in June or July when we hear back from UBCM, we would just go back to them and say, okay, we said we were thinking of this project, now we're thinking of this project, and we try to scale it back and align it with what we're actually doing and seek as the highest level of funding that we can.
Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Grove.
So does this mean we're continuing this conversation? I can just speak to it. I'm prepared, as Councillor Jensen has suggested, that to carry on a conversation to some point, we can perhaps limit it. But anyhow, I understand what's before us. So I would ask, though, in light of the recent input around the bike lane question, if this plan is designed to accommodate a bike lane to Marianne Crescent, and that's the limit of this plan specifically. So any further or future addition of bike lanes would involve council making that decision then at a later date, presumably. Is that right? I could just add that it seems to me the bike lanes do funnel the bikes in a safe fashion to that busy intersection. So that's part of the design. But we're not talking about the bike lanes beyond that, what I see in the drawing, the schematic. Is that right? Sorry.
Through the chair, if I understand your question correctly, are you asking about the continuation of the bike lanes through Cairndale towards maybe Western?
Yeah, sorry. So I'm talking about Cairndale East, of course, at the top here.
Yeah.
I get there was also other bike lanes, but that one's specific in this notion that perhaps would continue on to Wishart someday. That's not part of this plan, is it?
Not directly, no. Again, through the chair, some of the work that's been done very high level at this time is to ensure that whatever we do for this small segment can be realized for the rest.
Right.
So without going into, incredible detail with survey and all the rest, we've used the information we have in terms of cross sections and areas that we own in terms of right of way. And this is not in the report. This is just background information for you to understand. We've tried to layer this design to say this can be achieved for the rest of the corridor,
right,
should and when that gets developed.
Okay, so we're looking at appendix 3 there, the medium cost option. That's what we're looking at. It stops at Marianne Crescent.
All the cost options, low, medium, and high, all stop at Marianne Crescent.
I have a question for you about the bike lane question, is that the e-bike seems to me has completely changed the cycling discussion, because the hill, which would typically argue, why wouldn't you carry on Wishart to Machosin and on to the Goose or wherever to stay on? Why would you climb a hill simply to go back down the other side of it? Which would make no sense, but the e-bike flattens all the hills, so that changes the discussion. Does that come into your consideration somehow?
Yeah, certainly through the chair, it does. And I think the other piece in that is the existing neighborhoods that connect to Cairndale. So they're, even if they're not an e-bike or they are an e-bike, there's ways to connect and they want to get to McDonald's or whatever that may be. So it's really, it's about going back to our basic principles of the TMP, the OCP and the networks that we have in place and amenitizing those according to our plan.
Yeah, thanks. And the idea of the TMP helping to advise this, of course, makes perfect sense, but just wanted to clarify that. Thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's, that was my bottom line though, Council Grove, is that I was having a hard time with this because I was trying to reconcile it to our TMP, and then it's a draft TMP. And it wasn't really clear to me, where we're putting the bike lanes and what philosophically we're trying to do with our bike lanes. It was really important to me to understand that. And, I see the nods there, so Joshua, so thank you for that, but and I thought, well, it's not gonna hurt, I don't think. Yeah, it's a month delay, but then, we'll at least have some assurity from the grant side too, so there's some advantages. And what I would promise what I'll do is I got a page and a half of questions, because I did take the time to read it really carefully and went over it. And it was funny because some of the questions I was asking, then all of a sudden all these emails were coming in from committee members. I'm going, and then they're saying, "Wow, how come we don't see it?" Good point. Yeah, I thought you did, but then I had to go watch the last infrastructure transportation committee. Oh shit! They, like, pardon my language, they didn't do that. So, and it's just that, and the reason why I want to do this is because I don't want you to do the whole presentation. There's only 5 of us around the table, and some, it's not all of us. And I've been there, done that before in workshops when we were missing counselors, and then we have to restart every single time. And it just drove me crazy, to tell you the truth. So that's why I don't want to waste your time. It's probably more valuable that I was going to refer this, and I will send you all my questions. It's all on electronically, so I can fire them away to you right away. And I encourage the others, should this motion pass. Councilor Wilson, please. Sorry.
Hi, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just wanted to express that I would certainly support referring this to committee. That's the purpose and intention of these committees. So I think that if this has not been in front of them, it should be. So I'm wondering if there's an opportunity to hold can we hold a special meeting for this specific item to try to move things along quicker? Because I do see, I'm very much in favor of moving this particular project forward. So I would hate to see us miss any deadlines. So I'm just wondering if that is a possibility of being able to hold a special meeting for it.
I'm sure we can, right, Mr. Johnson? Yes.
Correct. The next meeting is scheduled for April 20th, but we could canvass to see if there's an opportunity to hold that sooner,
Okay.
To get this forward, because it would be just the same report that would be on
Yeah.
that committee agenda. So we could certainly do that. And this is the will of council. If you need that for information, we're certainly able and willing to do that. Just with the understanding that it might impact the construction timeline.
Okay, great. So I'm going to go ahead and make the motion that we recommend it to council to be referred to committee. Okay, you don't need it. It's committee. Thanks. But and just, and I think I just want to add some other things. It's just that, philosophically, you don't have to have all the priorities ready, but philosophically, what are we doing with bike lanes? Like, are we putting them only on arterials? Or we just that's what I just don't, I saw the plan, but I wasn't too sure what the priorities were, like, and which streets are we going to put them on? Like, yeah, I guess it's sort of on there, but just to have that philosophy and priorities, maybe prioritize, because maybe the TMP says Cairndale we're just not going to do. That's great. That just eliminates that part of that cost, right? That's how all I'm saying. The options are pretty clear. You did a good job on that, I'm going to tell you. But when I try to figure out this sidewalk thing, I just, or the bike lane thing. I just couldn't get my head around. Okay, Councillor Jensen, go ahead for discussion. It's on the floor.
Thank you. I was waiting for you to call discussion. I'm conflicted, and I would just process wise, I'd love to hear from Mr. Johnson if there's any value in us carrying forward with the discussion, hearing the motion. I don't want to duplicate, but are there things, is there a reason why we should consider this, or at least begin the discussion this evening, something that we're missing?
That's council's choice. If you don't feel the information is there, you don't feel that the committee has had it, that's certainly something that we can refer and have that information for council for your consideration.
So I'm conflicted, and I think the referral is to await an outcome of a fulsome discussion about bike lanes. I don't think, I mean, that'll be probably, go past the end of this council term before that comes out the other end with some answers. So I do believe that, this current council can make a decision on this and move it forward with some assurance that there's at least congruity for future connections, that opportunities are not missed. But I too question sort of the value of a one block stretch of bike lane when there's a sidewalk there. I know you're not supposed to ride your bike on the sidewalk, but it happens along that stretch comfortably, and there's not that many commuters or cyclists that come down that stretch for reasons of the hill, as Councillor Grove mentioned. But so I find myself conflicted a little bit. I would like to move forward, but I see the value of your referral motion, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I will see no other discussion. I'll call the question. All those in favor of the motion? Any opposed? Won't see none. That's it. I will, I will adjourn the committee of the whole. Actually, we're going to go in camera right now, right? So, okay. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Sorry for